hello. Down in front of me here, you've got my first ever soldiers. And they are Robin Hood, Airfix, little Airfix chaps. There they are. Here they are. And they were brilliant. I loved them. I loved my little Airfix fellas. But then I went to a proper wargames club in 1972. And in 1972 I was told by older, wiser men that you don't play with plastic soldiers, you have to have metal ones or they can't play. I remember a friend of mine, chap at the club, young lad, turned up with a load of, he had the box of Robin Hood's men and he wanted to use them as Rangers and Ithilians in a Lord of the Rings game. And this old fella came up to him and said, if we all did that, every soldier we had would have to be classed as light infantry. Get some metal ones. That's exactly the tone of voice he had as well. If you'd met him, you'd have thought, that's him. I know him. So there was an evolution, is the point. We started off with our plastic figures. And we had a game, my brother and I, using our plastic Robin Hood's men. So the first thing we did logically was to say, okay, what can we do? So that Airfix Friar Tuck was replaced by that Airfix Friar Tuck. And that Airfix Robin Hood was replaced by that Robin Hood. And when we got Sheriff of Nottingham's troops, they married up, and they married up, and they married up. And we evolved from plastic to metal. Not a big problem. Nowadays, 60 years later, my Robin Hood looks like that. And my Friar Tuck looks like that. And if you, my Robin Hood's men, generally, look like that. And I've got two dead good, interesting looking Sheriffs of Nottingham. If you want a serious Sheriff of Nottingham, I've got that one. And if you want a comical pantomime villain Sheriff of Nottingham, I've got that one. So I suppose the other thing is, do you remember, you won't, do you remember, most of you probably, beyond, I'm trying to say this diplomatically, you're a lot younger than me. When we collected Airfix, so we bought a box of Airfix soldiers, you went off to town with your mum, and with your pocket money you could get a box of them. That's got 36 pieces in that one, and Robin Hood, blah 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 blah, has got whatever he's got, 40, but 2 of them are Maid Marian and a horse and a stance. That's 3 of them. So it depends what you got, but here's the point, you got a lot for your pocket money. That was nice. Robin Hood first figures I ever bought. It's 40 years this year since I first created my world of Dural. But in the same way that my world is now called Dural, and the British Isles, Great Britain, England, Ireland, Scotland, North, United States of America, Canada, Uruguay, Argentina, Australia, wherever you live in the world is called what it's called now. It wasn't called that thousands of years ago. So, if someone was making a documentary about your home country's earliest inhabitants and the earliest names given to them, it probably isn't going to be the name that it's commonly known by now. Comment, let me know if it is. It's probably usually some cheeky beggars come in and pinched it and told you to call it something else. I mean, Britain weren't our idea. Some big hairy Roman in it, looking like we had to get a tin opener to get at him, came over, and we were all stood there in the pink and crinkly, as he's writing proper, painted blue, or maybe a bit of white if you've got some, thinking, what's that? Show him your bare bum. Will that help? Well, it usually does. Go on, do that. We'll show each other our bare bums for about, I don't know, 20 minutes, and then we'll beetle off home. But no, these Roman fellas started throwing sticks at them with pointy ends on them. They had machines that fired bolts, big cubic ballistas, and they all went, no! And then they went, you are called Britons. Are we? Where did we have that vote? I missed that memo. Hey! Never mind memos, I'm telling you, you're Britons from now on. And then the Britons went, well, we don't want to be Britons. And some went, well, we're Romano Britons. And then some other chaps came across and they said, but we're Saxons. We don't want to be Britons. And then a long time later, some people there was a big war. You might have heard about it. And you've got Germany, but there's all sorts of people, but I'm focusing on them too for this. I've strayed a little bit from the ethics figures, but you'll see the point in a minute. Right, so these two glossy chaps fighting each other, World War One. And on one side, I'm going to call it our side, on my great-granddad's side, were British, right? Saxons. The House of Saxe-Coburg. That was our royal family. Our royal family changed their name to Windsor because the bombers that were dropping bombs on London were Gotha bombers. And the surname of the family were Gotha. And it didn't really go down particularly well. So some chap turned up and the king went, change my name. And the bomber went, Windsor sounds a good name. He went, I'll be that then. So they changed the name. We're called Windsor, my eye. Anyway, well, this is history. This is what happens in history, real history, and it's great. I'm not knocking it. It's brilliant. Don't worry about what happened. Enjoy what you think happened, because it's. So my granddad, Anglo-Saxon, across the muddy field, trying to kill him, are a load of Saxons, because they're Saxons and Prussians and. They're all the same thing. Go back far enough. We're all related. Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. We're here. We're here because we're here. I was going to make a point about that. I will make a point about that. We're all the same. Look at us. Woohoo! We are beautiful in our diversity, as is my army. This is not the point I started off trying to make. But, so what? Yeah, so Dural, when it started, wasn't called Dural. In 1966, it was called Galensburg, the Burg of Galen. Burg, Saxon fortification, my name, Galen, right? Okay, I was tiny, I was a kid. I'm allowed affectations. Pretending my bed was a fortification, and it had to be because it was the only safe place in the whole of Yorkshire where somebody wasn't trying to kick my head in. So, nanas to you. Me and my mate Teddy. Here. He was the only person who stuck by me thick and thin, although you will hear him haranguing me if you watch old videos. He keeps shouting things when he's not supposed to. Oh, don't you? Anyway, so me and Teddy, Galensburg, and that was 1966. And here we are in 2026, 60 years later, celebrating our 60th anniversary. Not a lot, but what I do for like fantasy worlds and things, I assume that every year of real years before I got to where I am now is 10 years. So that means Galensburg became Dural, where I am now, 600 years ago. So in sort of United Kingdom terminology, you're looking at Wars of the Roses. So if there was a Roses begats Henry VII, Henry VII would be the first king of Henryburg, and Henryburg becomes Britain. Now, it doesn't. Don't go scuttle off to school and tell your mates that's what happened. I'm making stuff up. Yeah, so Galensburg, little village on an island, really, to stop my brother invading it with his teddy. We had mighty armies and an action man and some plastic soldiers. I had airfix soldiers, airfix Robin Hood's men, and he had World War II Russians. The odds have always been stacked against me, you know. It's too far life. So, I keep doing that to you. I'm sorry if you don't like it. Well, no, I'm not sorry, really. I'm going to keep doing it. So, airfix soldiers. Now, so I go to a club there, Wargames Club, 1972, and they say, oh no, you can't have them because they're plastic. So, okay. And like this chap said, this young lad had turned up with a load of Robin Hood's men to use for Ithilians, and this bloke went, you can't use them, they're light infantry, thinking it was a funny joke. Looking back, we were little and we didn't say oh, and he were an old man, but yeah, they are light infantry. What's your point? If Robin Hood doesn't constitute light infantry, what the heck does? Yeah, all right, buy it with these, medium infantry. But surely, if you judge by your argument, what you're saying is your metal figures are heavy infantry. Where do medium infantry come on? What are we going to make them out of? Wood? Balsa wood? I don't know. You see, it loses its analogy if he pushes it too far. So I'm just going to get rid of the Sheriff of Nottingham's men, if you don't mind me saying so. And I'm going to get rid of all but Robin and Friar Tuck. So I had to I replaced them, and the first one I replaced was Friar Tuck. I've got a number of clerical models. What you notice with these early clerics for Dungeons and Dragons, Citadel, Hinchcliffe, whoever, this is a bit of a later one, and I'll show you why. In the very earliest Dungeons and Dragons modules and legendary worlds, clerics weren't supposed to draw blood. Now, the problem there was they were allowed to carry clubs. Now, I would imagine if you get hit dead hard with a big club, you're going to lose some blood. But anyway, you were allowed to carry clubs. Didn't make sense, became weapons without edges, which became things like hammers. He's also got, but maybe it's for ceremonial purposes, a big sickly scythe. What's a sickle and what's a scythe? Tell me. I'm not agricultural, I'm a pit lad. I'm a collier's son. Difference between a sickle and a scythe, isn't there? One's little and one's big. I think that's a sickle. Like a hammer and sickle on the old Soviet flag. And a scythe is one of them big whoppers that Poldark whizzes about before he gets into bed with the nearest attractive maiden. Let me know. Well, if you care. And then Robin comes along. Robin Hood, riding through the glen. Or if you prefer, Dennis Moore, riding through the sward. Dennis Moore, on his horse Concord, steals from the poor, gives to the rich. Robin Hood. And then that Robin Hood evolved into that Robin Hood. He's not many years apart, that fella, from those two are not many years apart. And you can see the evolution of the figure. That one's all better painted because I painted that quite recently. Nowadays, if you go to the Foundry website in sort of Newark, Nottingham, they do a really good Robin Hood set. I've given more. I paint most of them, given to my daughter because she loves Robin Hood. I use him. Look at this fella, John Little of Alsage. He's a monster, isn't he? Where's my little Robin Hood's team? These are his men. Look, that's Will Scarlett. There you go, Will, stand there. That's his Friar Tuck. Give you a bit of perspective on him. If you look at some of my other videos, you'll see the games I play are not that different. I still use these figures to play the game that my brother and I invented in 66, 67. Galensburg is still on the map of Joral that I ram down your throats. You can see it there on that door. That's not it. That's a fraction of it that's part of a campaign we're playing. But that map was started in 1966. Has grown and lives on. And so in my world, that's 600 years ago. Whatever you do, start now. Start recording things. Start photographing things. Give yourselves memories that you can then utilise. I'm a lot nearer being in a home, being reminded of things by my nearest and dearest. And I do not want to be sat in the home with a bit of rice pudding, staring blankly, and somebody singing Vera Lynn songs to me, or Frank Sinatra. I did it my way. No. What I want is someone reading to me from the Vedan Chronicles. This is everything. This is, what's this? 820. This. So, but it goes, I mean, this is only one book. This book ends in, oh, there we go, look. The Rye Games in 1206. But it's got, this is like a sort of random jottings. It's got family trees. It's got saints. It's got everything. And so, you know, that was one of my son's role-playing characters from, gosh, he lives in America now, he works in America, he's married. And that must be 30 years ago, that character, Mustafa. And we've got all sorts of people in here. The Black Paladins. We've got different people who won the Rye Games over the years, and each one of those was an actual player, and they're all role-playing characters. Got books and books and books like this. And they keep growing and like ginger beer. Homemade ginger beer coming out of a bottle. But they're just great memories. And perhaps you can enjoy making your own. But I can't go. The final thing I'm going to tell you. Oh! It's the Hound of the Baskervilles. What do you want, mate? Yeah, and is it a postman? Yeah. Tell Teddy he's doing post today. I'm making YouTube stuff. Right, yeah. Last stuff I'm going to tell you. Before I was rudely interrupted by an hairy beast. Come and say hello, hairy beast. Come on. Say hello to the boys and girls. You ready? Hello, boys and girls. Hey, lovely boy, aren't you? Yeah, you are. Okay, you're going now. Yeah? Okay, bye-bye. I've still got a nose. Things you have to put up with. Now, so, yeah, I was going to tell you a final story about why it's nice to keep records. Last night, in bed, and it was about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I suddenly woke up, and I suddenly thought, how old was King Aelfrith when he died? And then, so I got the books out, and I waded all the way back, and it turns out he was 76 when he died. Of natural, well, he didn't die of natural causes. There is a suspicion that somebody poisoned him, but that might not be true, because something might be happening in a role play that might change that. And some of you who've been with me from the beginning, so I nearly said fans. Like I've got fans. Some of you who've watched a lot of these right from the early doors might know, because I asked you viewers a question about whether I should do this, and the video's still around. So perhaps if you fancy that you're a bit of a dungeon dragon-y treasure hunter, you might try to find out who Aelfrith is, because the clues are on here. And I'll give you one hint from a wizened little old wise man you meet in a temple, and he says, "The clue you seek was given to mankind more than 9 moons ago." And then he vanishes. So, yeah, comments, subscribe if you want. Why should you bother? I'll have a chat with you when we talk, and I'll try and stay alive to do some more. Those of you who are doing stuff, I try and watch as much of yours as I can. They're good. Well done. Fantastic. And thanks for the comments. Well, you're brilliant. I know this is all a bit weird, but hey, I'm evolving. See, there's a point to everything. Round and round we go. Ta-da, Chuck.